such an asshole.
All right, we have a Clarey test on 3 people. Could you do a Clarey test on Henry George, Lysander Spooner, and Mark Twain? I only know Mark Twain, so let's go with Mark Twain. Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens. That's who it was. Okay. Samuel Langhorne Clemens, 1835-1910, known as Mark Twain, American writer, humorist, entrepreneur, publisher, and lecturer. He was lauded as the greatest humorist the United States has ever produced. And William Faulkner called him the father of American literature. His novels include The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and its sequel, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He later of which has often been called the Great American Novel, which has often been called the Great American Novel. Raised in Hannibal, Missouri, which later provided the setting for Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. He served an apprenticeship with a printer and then worked as a typesetter, contributing articles to the newspaper of his older brother, Orion Clemens. All right, so he has real-world experience. He later became a riverboat pilot in the Mississippi River before heading west to join Orion in Nevada. He referred humorously to his lack of success at mining, turning to journalism in the Virginia City Territorial Enterprise. His humorous story, The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, was published in 1865 based on a story he heard at an Angels Hotel in Angels Camp, California, where he had spent some time as a miner. Again, more real-world working experience than most men alive today. Short story brought international attention, was even translated into French. His wit and satire in prose and in speech earned praise from his critics and peers, and he was a friend to presidents, artists, industrialists, and European royalty. Very poshly dressed gentleman there, too. How old was? Died 74. Okay, cool. Earned a great deal of money from his writings and lectures, but invested in ventures that lost most of it, such as the Pays Compositor, a mechanical typesetter that failed because of its complexity and imprecision. He filed for bankruptcy in the wake of these financial setbacks, but in time overcame. Help of Henry Huddleston Rogers eventually paid all of his creditors in full. There's an honest man, even though his bankruptcy relieved him of having to do so. Boy, what? Remember when Americans were American? Ah, you welfare collecting parasites. I'm going to file for bankruptcy. Let's go with his early life. Did he come from wealth? 6 of 7 children, native Kentucky, native Virginia. Parents met. His father moved to Missouri. They were married 1823. 20 Only 3 siblings survived childhood. Well, what does his dad do? Became a theme in the ride. Father was an attorney and judge who died of pneumonia in 1847. So his dad died when he was 12. So yeah, when Twain was 11. Following year, Twain left school after the 5th grade to become a printer's apprentice. All right, so he was from wealth, but then his old man died, and he had to be the man of the house and go work. So yeah, so he didn't come from wealth. He worked real jobs. I'm just seeing if he went to college. I don't think he did. The pilot, even those days of trivial wages, had a princely salary from $150 to $250 a month and no board to pay. As Twain described, the pilot's prestige exceeded that of the captain. Pilot had to get a warm personal acquaintanceship with every old snag and one-limbed cottonwood and every obscure wood pile that ornaments the banks of the river. Oh, when you go down. Okay, so he made pretty good money. Payable out after graduating. Actually, no, at the time. He studied the Mississippi. I don't see any college. He didn't go to college. Smart man. Moved west, stagecoach, miner. That's where you work with your hands. Yeah, and did he work till he died? 1867. Marriage and children. Love of science and technology. Oh, friendship with Nikola Tesla. Oh, that's cool. Mid-1900s, guest on newspaper proprietor located in London, wrote speaking engagements, 1890s, Canadian business. Later life and death. I lived later years in Manhattan, passed through a period of deep depression, which began when his daughter Susie died. Oh. Olivia's death, and Jean deepened his gloom. Close friend Roy Rogers suddenly died. Earthquake. Boy, a lot of tragedy. Concerts, theater, play. Died 1910. Yeah, so he worked in a minor nonprofit capacity. He worked till he did. All right, so didn't come from wealth. Real world working experience. Worked until he was dead. Didn't major in dumb crap. Gets a perfect score. Would I want to have a beer with him? Yes. Should he run for office? Yes. Who wouldn't want to hang out with Mark Twain? All right, the next one. Henry George. Henry George, 1839, 1897. Henry George was an American political economist and journalist. Already, don't like him. His writing was immensely popular in 19th century America. It sparked several reform of the progressive era. Was it we give other people's money to me? All that progressive era, all this, I read this book, The Occult Origins of Feminism, and though a narrow topic, the historical documentation of the progressive era and all these reforms, all it was, not kidding, it just shows you how dumb and basic bitch it all was. All it was, how can we get free crap? How can we avoid responsibility? How can we avoid work? He inspired the economic philosophy known as Georgism, the belief that people should own the value they produce themselves, but that the economic value of land, oh, I remember this guy, including natural resources, should belong equally to all members of society. George famously argued that a single tax on land values would create a more productive and just society. His most famous work, Progress of Poverty, sold millions of copies worldwide. Yeah, ignore wages. I'm so tired of, did you get paid a wage? Oh, you did? Okay, go get your own property. The treatise investigates the paradox of increasing inequality and poverty amid economic and technological progress, the business cycle and cyclical nature of industrialized economies, and use of rent capture, such as land value tax and other anti-monopoly reforms, as remedies. Okay. Journalist for many years, popular as right. Yeah, he was popular because he told people what they wanted to hear. All right, let's go. I think I even have a video on Georgism where I had to study it, and you can look at it. If I recall correctly, it was a very nice, nuanced way to avoid work. Personal life, to a lower middle income, second of 10 children. All right, so he came from poverty. All right, father, publisher of religious texts, a devoted Episcopalian. St. George, the Episcopal Academy in Philadelphia, shaped his religious upbringing, left the academy without graduating. Instead, he convinced his father to hire a tutor and supplement with his avid reading. So that poor man was poor, but the kid wanted first world tastes. Attending lectures at the Franklin Institute. Was that one of these made-up institutions? Science Museum of Health Scientist. Okay, that sounds legit. His formal education ended at the age of 14. He went to sea as a farm-ass boy at the age of 15. All right, real work. In up America West, 1858, briefly considered prospecting for gold. Instead, started work the same year as a typesetter. Okay, kind of the same way as Mark Twain. Fell in love, girl from Australia, 17th birthday. She'd been orphaned, living with an uncle. Uncle prosperous, strong-minded man was opposed to his niece, an impoverished suitor, but the couple, defying him, eloped and married in 1861. But marriage was a happy one. Boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo. Future dancer, following the birth, second had no work and no money, and had to beg for food. Have kids without, okay, here's where the abandonment of responsibility and the idea, hey, other people should give me their money. As he approached the first well-dressed stranger he saw on the street, George, normally a lawful man, decided to rob him if he was unwilling to help. Oh, okay. I don't have a rule for like you're a criminal. This is a first. Fortunately, the man took pity on him, gave him $5. George was raised at an Episcopalian, but believed in deistic humanitarianism. That sounds like I don't want to work. Mainly influenced deism and humanism. After deciding against gold mining in British Columbia because it was hard, George was hired as a painter for the newly created San Francisco Times. He admits editorials publication, including what the ring railroads bring us. Reading decades climb through the ranks. Editor. Anti-monopoly. Political and economic philosophy. As a Lincoln Republican, became a Democrat, strong critic of railroad and mining interests, corrupt politicians, land speculators, labor contract. He first articulated what the railroad would bring us. Boobity boo, boobity boo. Political career. Oh, did he go into politics? Irish nationalist community, despite being of English ancestry. Speaking journeys. Boy, it looks like I'm going to give him half a point. His later life was just avoiding work. How old was he when he died? So he was in politics. Oh, only for 10 years. All right. Internal divisions. Death and funeral. Stroke. Yeah, having kids without work, that gets you half a point. All right. So he did not come from wealth. He didn't major in stupid stuff. I'm gonna apply. What is he? Does he have real working experience? Yes. What's he doing now? He kind of shirked work. I'm gonna give him half a point for that. So he gets a score of like 0.5, which is very low. Would I want to have despite having a very good score, would I want to have a beer with this guy? No. I just let's look at humanism. What is humanism? I don't want to work. Philosophical stance that emphasizes the individual and society, social potential, and agency of human beings. It considers human beings as a starting point of serious moral. Big witty. No. I'm very unimpressed with this guy. Should he have ran for office? By today's standards, sure. By those standards, no. But no, I just don't. He was a hippie. Oh, I'm going to fall in love, have kids. I'm going to rob you because in my mind, no, I don't care. No. Very unimpressed. Okay, and Lysander Spooner, that's an interesting name. Wow, look at that beard. He looks very odd. Lysander Spooner, 1808, 1887, American individualist anarchist. Oh, God. Again, don't want to work? Or are you going to be really an anarchist and I'll leave you alone. Hang on. What is individual anarchist? Influenced by Benjamin Tucker, Henry David Thoreau, other important individuals. What does it believe? Stresses the isolation of the individual, his right to his own tools, his mind, his body, and to the products of his labor. Okay, that's fine. To the artist who embraces philosophy aesthetic. Unlike the rest of the socialist movement, the individuals anarchists believe that the natural wage of labor in a free market was its product, and that the economic exploitation could only take place when capitalist landlords harness the power of the state. No, it's called the entrepreneurs setting up the business. You all too. Look, nothing's stopping you guys from starting a bit. Oh, we want the employees should own the means of production. Well, go start a company then. Go. Stop complaining. No one's stopping you. You can have, what do they have? They have, what do they call it? Co-ops where the employees own the means of production. You have union shops where the employees own. You have it. Go do it. Most of you just too lazy to do accounting. That's it. There it is. That's what it is. I want to set up an LLC or the account. I want to work. Okay, well, who's going to employ you? Well, not me. Well, then you're going to have to work for someone. But they're capitalist pigs. Oh, God. All right. Let's see what kind of life he participated in to avoid work, or if he actually did work like a union man. He's an abolitionist, entrepreneur, essayist, legal theorist, pamphletist, political philosopher unit. Doesn't sound like somebody who worked. Was a strong advocate of the labor movement, anti-authoritarian, and his political views. His economic political idea had been identified anarchist stories like Marshall was as libertarian social. Jesus. Okay. All right. Libertarian socialism. All right. Now I know it's BS. Those are mutually exclusive. Libertarians like free economic freedom, social freedom. Socialism is give us your freaking money. Libertarians would argue, yeah, you get to keep your wages and you may start a business. I just, oh God. Left libertarian free market socialism. Do you people hear your free market socialism, huh? Tell me you make up crap so you don't have to work without telling me you make up crap so you don't have to work. Others dispute this and identify his views as right libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, early life. Born Athol, Massachusetts. Parents were Asa and Dolly Spooner. One of his aunts and winners arrived in Plymouth, the second of 9 children. Father was a deist, and it had been speculated that he purposely named his 2 other sons Leander and Lysander after pagan and Spartan heroes. Great. Your parents were hippies. Spooner's activism as his career as a lawyer, which itself violated Massachusetts law, studied law under prominent lawyers, politicians, abolitionists, free soil power. However, he never attended college, according to the law. Well, who is his parents? I'm just going to assume he came from wealth. I'm sorry, buddy. You went into law. That was a pretty prestigious thing. And if your dad hailed from Plymouth, I'm just going to assume, until proven otherwise, you came from wealth. You got a point against you. According to laws of the state, college graduates are required to study with an attorney for 3 years, while non-graduates like Lysander would be required to do so for 5 years. With the encouragement of legal members, set up his practice of Worcester only after 3 years defined the courts. He regarded 3-year privilege for college graduates as a state-sponsored discrimination against the poor. All right, just shut up. Just shut up. Discriminated against the poor and having provided a monopoly income for those who met the requirement. Regard that no one has yet dared advocate in direct terms so monstrous a principle that the rich ought to be protected by law from competition to the poor. In 1963, legislature abolished the restriction. He opposed all license requirement of lawyers, doctors, and anyone else that's prevented from being employed by such requirements. Spooner prevent a person from doing business was a person without a professional license was a violation of the natural right to contract. There is some argument there, but if you're going to be working on people or conducting law, they probably wanted to prevent people from charlatans, kind of like you, buddy. Criminal acts, blah, blah, blah. After disappointing legal career. No kidding. You failed, huh? And a failed career in legal real estate speculation. Dude, bro. Oh, it's the original hippie dude, bro. Who's avoiding work. Spooner returned to his father's farm in 1840. Okay, you know what? You didn't major in anything. You majored in work avoidance. I'm not allowing you the boomer grandfather clause that any degree was a good. No. You came from wealth. You didn't major in the right thing. You're lazy. Have you any real work? Not so far. Being an advocate for self-employment and an opponent of government regulation of business in 1844, Spooner started the American Letter Mail Company, which competed with the United States Post Office. See what he did there, socialist? He started a company whose rates were very high. It had various offices, including stamps could be purchased and then attached to letters, which could be bought to any of its offices. From here, agents were dispatched to travel on railroads and steamboats and carried the letters in handbags. Letters were transferred as he had once done when challenging the rules. Spooner published a... This was a challenge to the post office's legal monopoly. You sound like a social justice warrior. It's illegal. They're going to come down after you. Rule number 1, if you want to start a business, make sure you can do it legally. You may not have to agree with the law, but do it legally. Oh, no, you got to prove a point, eh, buddy? Must be nice having dad's farm to feed you. As he had once done while challenging the rules of the Massachusetts Bar Association, Spooner published a pamphlet titled The Unconstitutionality of the Laws of Congress Prohibitive Private Mails. Although Spooner found commercial success with his mail company legal challenges by the government, eventually exhausted his financial resources. So it wasn't a financial success, was it? Law enacted strengthening company provided abolitionist movement. I don't see any work. I guess is that real work? Is it real work? He started his God. You got to give it. It was real work. I'll give it to you. It was real work. You had real world working experience. You started a company. Even though it was a SJW jerk off fest, you started a company. Good for you, buddy. I think David Hogg sold pillows. I guess it's real work. Campaign against slavery. Never worked in a mine like Mark Twain. Spooner continued to write and publish extensively. He just wrote. Okay, you just wrote. I don't care about his political views. Okay. Came from wealth. Majored in dumb crap. He does have real world working experience. What did he do? He just was an activist his entire life. So he gets a score of 3, which is a bad score. No, I don't want to have a beer with him. Hey, what's it like having daddy to fall back on all the time? Oh, yeah, you tell me how the real world should work there, buddy. No, you're going to write pamphlets even after the Civil War that slavery was bad. Good for you. You're a pamphleteer. Was he married? Did any woman marry this guy? No kidding. Woman didn't want to marry you? You know who he sounds like? He sounds like Diogenes. Like you people all get off on like basically a bomb. Oh, Diogenes, man, he lived in a barrel. Like, yeah, okay. Good for him. Yeah, I would, and he should not run for office. Oh, God. Shows that even back then, everybody wanted to hear you don't have to work. Yeah, it's the robber barons. Yeah. So there you go. Any super chats? We got a couple super. Oh, by the way, Adriano Ramos, we'll get to your super chat here. Don Juan Plagius? 0. $2 Cappy Fish, Bachelor Pad Economics, best book ever. Well, thank you, Don Juan. I appreciate that. Adriano, since you're here, I screenshotted your other one. Adriano Ramos, 5 Australian dollars. Mark Twain once said Mauritius was made first and then heaven, and heaven was copied after Mauritius. Really? So did he go there? He must have been there. While I have you here, let's go to the other one. Adriano Ramos for $5. What happened to your luscious, spiky hair, front end hair? You need to put some Brill cream or wax to make it look pretty again. Yeah, I just put shaving cream in it. I'm going through my shaving cream. The woman, let me tell you what, I'll explain something about women. You want to know about women? I'll explain something about women. Women have to save every little container of hair product because who knows, you might need it. So I've been going through all these like various containers we've dug up after moving. And I've gotten through all of them, and now I'm down to like this final bottle of shaving cream that I used for hair gel, which works, and it's a good moisturizer. It's got the aloe in it. But when I get some more of the thicker hair paste, maybe I'll do the spiky thing up front. But I'm tired. I just finished a week and a half of visitors. And I didn't really do much. We did a hike. We did a couple hikes. They weren't terribly challenging. Well, we did do one hike that was kind of challenging. But I'm tired. Like I was physically tired. And I was just driving people around after that. Dropping them off at the airport and all. And which isn't physically exhausting, but just, man, I was just like, boy, I woke up this morning and kind of, yeah. Great one was over last night. That was cool. It was really cool. I had cigars. But today is the day I rest, and I might be doing nothing. So maybe when I go out downtown, go have a cigar and presentable in public, then I might do my hair. But no, I even threw it's cloudy out, a little bit cool. It's already shady at my place because of all the trees, but yeah, the cloud cover and all that's pretty dark out. So a little cool in the basement. Big Shell 007, 10 generous dollars. Happy late 4th of July. Praise the Lord. My father has joined the 1099 Superior race this last year doing lifting. Good for your old man. Tell him to tune into the Clarey podcast. Probably do a podcast later on today. I might join him soon doing DoorDash. Yep. Tornado Chasing Kid does roadie. I guess for those of you who want to do longer distance stuff, you could drive and haul things long distances. There's no reason to work for 1099 corporate. There's no reason to work for the large corporations. Hey, look who's in the house. Who let that guy in? Yeah. See, here, let me show you guys something. Let me show you something about this. Atham knows more about U.S. history than you Americans do. He does. I mean, look at that. That's how much level. I didn't know anything about this Spooner guy. Look at Atham. He knows that. I mean, nobody likes Atham, but, just pointing out. Yeah. Adriano Ramos, $2. Yes, he went there. Oh, cool. All right. I guess I got to check out Mauritia, and I'm sure it's different from 160, 70 years ago. All right. That's it. We'll see you guys later. More on the way, Toodles.